Hey, what's going on, comic fans? It's Mr. Q Comics back with another haul video. Today I have got a nice short box full of dollar bin books and a few Silver Age books I picked up. I actually picked these up on Black Friday at one of my local shops. They put out a ton of dollar bin books. So I hit them up and I'm just getting around to showing it off. So I've kind of picked out, I picked a few out that I wasn't going to bother to show off just to try and keep the length down. So before we jump into it, guys, if you are a fan of comic haul videos, if you like the books I'm showing off here, please do me a favor, go down below, hit the like button, hit subscribe, leave me some comments as well. Let me know what you think. So, all right, let's jump into it. I basically just have these all in alphabetical order. So first book, I had never heard of these books. This is from Super Comics, the Action Western Gunfighters, number 16. Usually not a Western fan, but I grabbed this simply because the condition was really nice for a dollar mint book. So I really don't know anything about it. It was just in nice shape, so I grabbed it. Okay, next we've got Alien Worlds number 2. This is just a cool Dave Stevens cover. If you've watched my haul videos before, I love Dave Stevens cover art. I've hit up this shop many times, and each time I'm in their dollar bins, I seem to find another Dave Stevens cover. So this is just another one to add to the PC in really good shape. This looks to be in near mint condition, so happy to find that. Copy of All-Star Squadron number 1. I believe this is the origin of All-Star Squadron. Copy of Avengers 91. This is in rough shape. They usually will dump a lot of their low-grade silver into these dollar bins. So I like to go through and just kind of cherry pick out the ones that are, just in pretty decent shape. So this is, this is probably in good range. It's part of the Kree Skrull War. I can't remember which part. I want to say part 6, but I could be wrong on that. Copy of Avengers 87. I want to say it was a Toy Biz reprint. I could be wrong on that. But it reprints the origin of the Black Panther, which always love this cover on the original anyways. Just beautiful yellow background. And that was in pretty good shape. That probably looks to be about VF near mint at least. We got West Coast Avengers number 1. This is from the mini-series from 1984. So this is the first team appearance of the West Coast Avengers, and this is a book, minor key, not really worth anything, but I love grabbing these out of the dollar bin. I grab them every time I find them. So, all right, super low grade, but anytime I'm going to find some Batman Silver Age, I'm going to grab it. Batman 183. It's got some weird, like, wax stain. This is the second appearance of Poison Ivy, which really affordable. Obviously 181 hugely expensive, so I always find 183 pretty cheap. So, and I think the cover's hysterical too. But for $1, definitely not going to leave that behind. All right, these were hot for a while. I think they totally cooled off. This is a book I had from my childhood. The movie came out when I was a kid, and I loved it. From 1989, you've got Batman, the movie special. This is in really good condition. I think this is near mint range. These got some heat due to, I think, the Robert Pattinson movie and some of the other DC movies, and potentially the Michael Keaton Batman coming into the movie or something. I can't remember, but they're not books I sought out, but when I find them in the dollar bin, I grab them. Also had this as well. Again, just another adaptation of the movie. I think I found these both twice at this shop for $1 and $2 each. So I know they cooled off, but for $1, totally worth it to me to go ahead and pick those up again. Okay, another Silver Age. Not a series I collect, but this is in pretty good shape. Challengers of the Unknown, number 35. I know nothing about this series, but again, this was in nice shape. Cool little date stamp there. So I grabbed it for $1. I mean, if I'm finding Silver Age comics for $1, I'm going to take the chance on them. This was, I have no idea what this is. Clint the Hamster or something from Eclipse Comics. I 100% bought this because of the Apocalypse Now homage cover, which I just thought was cool. I love that movie. To me, one of the, the more out there Vietnam War movies. I love Robert Duvall in the movie though. So cool book. 100% cover buy on that for me. Crisis on Infinite Earths, number 8, The Death of Barry Allen Flash. Not in great shape, but always cool George Press covers on this. Super low grade Daredevil number 41. This was super beat up, water damaged, so rippled. I cleaned it a bit, pressed it out. Didn't come out too bad, but it is definitely in the good condition range. So another thing I love about their dollar bins is I can pick up a lot of beat up books that are great, cannon fodder for pressing practice, and you don't have to be too worried about destroying it. Most of the time, you're not finding a ton of huge keys. You will definitely find some good keys in there, but definitely, good stuff to be practicing cleaning and pressing with. So, all right, we got Detective number 490. This was just one I didn't have, so I grabbed it. More low-grade silver, Doctor Strange number 183. Really beat up. I think I had it as well, but again, I'm finding these Marvel Silver Age and, well, Bronze Age here, but I can't pass them up for $1. So, Fantasy Masterpieces number 14. This reprints the Silver Surfer. I think they did the whole Silver Surfer run reprinted here. Surprisingly, some of these actually go for good money. The number 4 of the Fantasy Masterpieces, which obviously reprints Silver Surfer 4, that can sell for pretty good money, like $20 if it's in good shape, which always surprises me with some of these reprints. Nothing I would pay for myself, but hey, other people want them. They can't afford the original cover. They are great covers, and I love the Spidey crossovers. So, all right, let's see here if I can find my place. Okay, Adventure into Fear number 10. This is again low grade. I think it is the first solo Man-Thing story, I believe. Some war books here. Again, I don't typically collect war books, but Silver Age for $1, Fighting Air Force. Number, I don't know what number this is. I think it's on the inside. Cool Dick Giordano cover from Charlton. We've got a Forever People number 7. Jack Kirby, of course. Again, probably mid-grade. Okay, this next one I think I showed off in another dollar haul, but I got a much better copy this time. The Hobbit, kind of like a graphic novel, part 1 from the 80s. I forget who put this out. The one I grabbed before had some bent corners. This one's in really good shape. So I just love The Hobbit. I remember watching it as a kid, the cartoon, if any of you guys remember that. In the 80s when you were a kid, I, for some reason, remember one of my teachers showing it in class, and this just reminds me of that. So, love that. Beat up copy of Iron Man 47, which I think is the origin retold. So, again, really, really shredded, but it was $1. So I'm not leaving it for $1. I always walk out of their dollar bin sales with, they have to give me a short box from the back to carry it all out. Iron Man 170. This is Rhodey takes over as Iron Man. So this is one of those keys that it doesn't go for a ton, I don't think. But to me, little keys like this out of the dollar bin, I will grab these every time I find them, especially if they're, in high grade. I'll probably skip these if they're completely beat up since it's an 80s book. But there's a lot of great minor key books out there that aren't worth a ton right now that you can just kind of pick out and sit on. And who the heck knows if it's going to become something. I feel like nowadays it's more than likely it's going to get some heat to it at some point. So, all right, low grade copy of Justice League number 55. I think this is the first Golden Age Robin in the Silver Age, I think. All right, got my books messed up here. Okay, I grabbed this out of the dollar bin when I find it. This is a series I remember as a kid that I never picked up from 1990. The whole mini-series, and they're all in pretty good shape. The Lobo mini-series 1 through 4. I always loved that number 1 cover, too. I don't know who did that. Bisley? Cool stuff. I never read it as a kid either, but because I wasn't really into DC, but happy to get that. We've got Man-Thing. This is volume 2, number 1. Again, beat up, mid-grade, nothing special, but dollar bin stuff. These are books that were hot for a while. Definitely, I think they've cooled off a bit. It's Marvel Fanfare. You got 10, which I don't think is a key, but this is the Black Widow stuff. 11, which is the first Iron Maiden. And 12, which is the second Iron Maiden and first cover. So I know there was definitely some, this book got hot for a bit with the Black Widow movie, and it seems like a lot of the keys tied to Black Widow have just kind of cooled off a bit. I could be wrong. I think it's just because of all the delays due to COVID. So anyways, to find them for $1, I think I found 11 for $1 a year or two ago in like fantastic shape. So I grabbed the other ones here. It's a cool little Bronze Age book, Marvel feature number 8. This, I think, is the origin of Ant-Man and Wasp retold. This was, again, super beat up, had like these really terrible creases on it, like completely bent. And I was able to press that out pretty decently. So, all right, for the Doctor Who fans out there, got Marvel Premiere number 57, which is the first Doctor Who in U.S. Comics, I think. And they had 58, 59, and 60, which I dig the 60 cover. I know nothing about Doctor Who. I'm not a Doctor Who fan. But pretty decent shape for $1. So, and I don't know if it went beyond 60 for the Doctor Who story or not, but when I see people selling sets of it, it's usually 57 through 60. So I am assuming the Doctor Who story ends at 60. So, but I could be wrong, of course. Okay, classic cover for me that I always pick up. Punisher War Journal, number 7. 6 is obviously the, the better one, the preferred one. But I love this this 2-book series, Jim Lee art, Punisher and Wolverine together. Fantastic stuff. I always remember this one from my childhood. All right, this series is this is a Charlton series that has definitely picked up heat because of course, speculation. Peacemaker number 4. This is in pretty decent shape. I don't know who did the cover here. Pat Boyette, I think it is. But I just knew that the Peacemaker stuff was hot, so I came across it in a dollar bin and I snatched it. All right, some Marvel Bronze Age. We've got Ringo Kid number 1. Again, I'm not a Western fan, but I just grabbed it because it's a number 1 issue. Low grade, again, like most of the stuff in here. We've got Secret Wars 11. I've just been, anytime I'm in the dollar bins, I'm taking Secret Wars issues if they're in good enough shape. I mean, I'm usually skipping the completely thrash stuff. I have multiple sets of this, but I am absolutely stockpiling the Secret Wars miniseries and also the Secret Wars 2, which they had number 1. Oh, that was it. I thought I had some more Secret Wars 2 issues, but I've definitely been buying some of the Secret Wars 2 stuff. There's some first appearances in there. I know with the Beyonder, there's kind of, for me, confusion as to what is his true first appearance. I think his first appearance is in Secret Wars 1, but his first human form is Secret Wars 2, number 3 or something. And I think issue 5 of Secret Wars 2 is the first appearance of Boom Boom from the X-Men. So that's a super affordable key issue that I have been starting to pick up when I find it, And again, when I'm buying this stuff, I'm not paying top dollar. I'm looking to find it in dollar bins or find it for a few dollars. So, all right, happy to find this. Again, nostalgia buy for me. Simpsons Comics number 1 for $1 from Bongo Comics. I don't think this is worth a ton of money, but I love The Simpsons. I was in 6th grade, I think, when The Simpsons came out. So for me, this was an absolutely must-have. So happy to get it for $1. Some Spidey stuff. I've got the Spider-Man All giveaway, which I think I have in better shape, but I'm not going to leave behind Amazing Spidey for $1. All right, some Spectacular Spider-Man. These are in really good shape. I have these 2 many times over. Spectacular 131 and 132, both in newsstands, but these surprisingly, and I don't even think these were in bags when I pulled them out of the dollar bin, but they are in better shape than any of the other copies I have. Another series I've been trying to stockpile, this the Craven's, oh my God, I'm drawing a total blank. What you call Craven's Last Hunt, 6-issue series between Spectacular Spider-Man, Web, and Amazing Spider-Man. And the Spectacular Spider-Man books are by far and away the cheapest, but still great Mike Zeck cover art. I know there's speculation with Craven coming into the MCU. And they're just fantastic books. So I've been stockpiling those, but I always find the Spectacular Spider-Man books instead of the other ones. I never find the ASM ones. A couple of times I found the Web of Spider-Man books. I think it's 31 and 32 in the dollar bin. So I've been stockpiling those when I come across them. All right, some Star Wars. It was super hot, of course. This was just for my run. It was in better shape than the one I had. You don't find a lot of Star Wars, especially nowadays, in the dollar bins. They had an entire box of Star Wars stuff, the Dark Horse modern stuff. So, of course, I got excited like, oh, man, I'm going to find some Star Wars. But they made it clear to me they had already picked out anything that was hot. And I don't know anything about the modern Star Wars books. I totally have to use... I use the Key Collector app. I know a lot of people hate the Key Collector app, but I absolutely use it when I'm looking for books. And I know nothing about the modern Star Wars first appearances and stuff. So I've been trying to piece together this run of the vintage Marvel Star Wars series since I got back into collecting in 2015. I found a huge, not huge. I found most of the run from someone locally on Craigslist years ago, like 78 issues or something. And I've just been kind of steadily replacing the ones that are beat up. I think I'm missing like two of the later issues, like 104 and 106 or something like that. And I just haven't pulled the trigger. So I'm like 1 or 2 books away from having the run. And this was just a better copy than that issue. I don't think there's any significance on that at all. I did get some of the modern Star Wars stuff. I don't think this is worth anything. I just thought the cover was awesome. Star Wars, I don't know, American Entertainment exclusive, number 0. It's like a mini book, but I just love the Princess Leia cover. Classic. And my favorite character was always Boba Fett. As a kid, I think just the kind of mystery with this, with him. So they had some of the Boba Fett stuff. I know nothing about it, but I grabbed these 3 books. Bounty of Barracuda. I think these all go together when the fat lady sings, and I love this cover. I don't know who did it, Murder Most Foul, but I just thought that was a super cool Boba Fett cover. So I grabbed those for the PC, and of course they did have, this surprises me, this doesn't get more attention. I think it probably will now, but they had the Return of the Jedi series, and they had, a few of them, so I grabbed them. Got Return of the Jedi number 1. We've got number 2 and number 4. So I have these multiple times over. For some reason, I think I only have 1 issue, number 3. I never find that one. I don't know why. That's always missing. I don't know if that one's an actual key, but not worth a ton. But for Star Wars stuff, I always love Return of the Jedi. It was one of the few. I think it was the only Star Wars original trilogy movie I got to see in the theater as a kid. And I loved the movie as a kid. I remember having all the toys, lost my Jedi Luke Skywalker and my parents' steps as a child. Their steps fell apart. I used to play in the yard and drop my Luke in the hole in the steps. And like literally a couple days later, they fixed the hole and my Luke got entrapped in their staircase in the ground underneath their front steps. And I lost him. Sad. Anyways, all right, back to the book. Strange Tales 124. This is in terrible shape. It's got a big piece missing. Someone cut out the picture of Paste Pot Pete. I assume there's a coupon in there, but it was $1. It's like a 1964 Strange Tales, so I took it home with me. We got Superman's pal, Jimmy Olsen, number 72. I don't think this is a key or anything, but again, just Silver Age stuff for $1, so I wasn't leaving it. Thor 205. Again, not a key, I don't think, but I didn't have this. I have pieced together from this shop a good Thor run, a good early Bronze Age Thor run, and I think I was missing 205. Another book that seems to get a lot of attention, or has been, the Ninja Turtles, of course, have been hot this year. I honestly don't collect a lot of Ninja Turtle stuff, but This is Usagi Yojimbo #1. I think it's from, well, it is volume 2. So I don't know if this goes for anything, but it was in pretty good shape. So I grabbed that. We've got Where Creatures Roam #1. Again, low grade. I feel like that's a reprint from earlier Silver Age Marvel stuff. We've got some Wonder Woman 185. Wonder Woman 206, I think, is the origin of this character, Nubia, I believe. Could be wrong. This cover I thought was cool. I don't know why. I just love the color on it. Wonder Woman 208. I like the black. Neat cover. Don't know who did that. And a cool Brian Boland cover, Wonder Woman #0, which I don't think is worth anything, but I thought that was a cool Boland cover, so I took that one as well. All right, getting near the end here. Last bit of dollar bin stuff. Another book I always pick up from dollar bins, X-Men #1, 90s stuff. Not a huge book, but again, first appearance of X-Man, who I think is the son of Jean Grey and Cyclops. I don't know. I wasn't reading books at this time. I had gotten out of it by then. So another good book that I find a lot, X-Men 4. First appearance of Omega Red. I think this one is in really good shape. I have found this in their dollar bins multiple times over. It's a book I still find in dollar bins. I see this going for probably about $20 raw in good shape. 9/8's going for a good amount of money. There's definitely been a lot of speculation for Omega Red. I still find it buried in the dollar bins. This is just one of those series. Comic shops and dealers stuck all this X-Men run in the dollar bins, years ago, and it still sits there. So you will still find it if you look hard enough. So this is one of those books that I think is great for speculation. I just won't pay the $25 a book. I will wait until I find it in the dollar bin, and I continue to find it. So it's out there, guys. And it's an awesome Jim Lee cover. I mean, I remember buying this one off the rack as a kid as well. Some low grade Bronze Age X-Men 66. I can't remember. I feel like this is the last original story. I could have that wrong. I feel like this is the last one before they started reprinting issues, but I could be mistaken. And here's one of the reprint issues, 88. I just did not have this one. I have the original one, and of course it's in rough shape. It's got a big 15 in marker and a store stamp here, but I didn't have that one. So some more X-Men, not in the best of shape, but some of my favorite Jim Lee covers from the Uncanny X-Men run. And they got some keys tied to Psylocke in here that I'm going to screw up. So we got Uncanny 256. I always love that cover. I can't remember what the significance of this book is, but I know there's something like maybe her classic costume in this one. 257. We got 267, which I think might be the third gamut. And these are all mid-grade on these ones. But I grab them anytime I find these books in the dollar bin. I take them home. Classic Jim Lee cover. This has got to be probably my favorite Jim Lee cover. 268. Absolutely love this. Surprised to find this in there still. Uncanny 282. So I think this is the first cameo and first cover of Bishop. I think he's just on the last page here. And then they had 283 as well, which I think is his first full. Could have it wrong. I don't know. Depends on who you want to go off of. I have not looked through these books in years. So, but these are, again, books I find in a dollar bin all the time. And I grab the 282 and 283 every time I find them. I think they're absolutely worth it if you're finding them for $1. I mean, they're probably worth it if you're finding them for more than $1. I'm sure I've bought copies of 282 in good shape for more than that. So for me, those are good spec books as well that aren't getting a ton of attention right now. All right, so we are on to the final dollar bin book. I was shocked to find this. This is, of course, beat up, but they always put out a box that is coverless stuff, or like the store return copies, and it'll be like a ton of, it's all Silver Age. So I'm flipping through it, and I just see what's remaining of the cover, and I could not believe they had it in there for $1. Fantastic Four Annual #2, Origin of Doctor Doom. Was shocked that was in there for $1. Yeah, it's a store return copy, but anything Doctor Doom, anything Fantastic Four. Any of these keys are huge. Obviously, the first appearance of Doom is out of reach for many of us. Certainly it's for me, but this book is attainable. Couldn't believe I found it for $1, even in the condition it's in. So great dollar bin find there. Super happy to find that. And the shop is cool. They don't, they put it in there. They're like, hey, congratulations. They don't, if they left it in there, they honor what they priced it at. So, all right, another spec book that I know got some attention. This was fairly cheap, probably better shape than my copy, so it'll probably be replacing what's in my PC. Amazing Spider-Man 257. So I think this is the book where Ned Leeds becomes the Hobgoblin. I can't remember. I've had it in my collection for years, and I just know people have been buying it, so I've gotten a couple copies recently. Okay, now on to the real fun stuff. This was on top of the dollar bins they put out. They had an entire box of X-Men stuff, mostly Silver Age, but some Bronze Age stuff as well. Everything was water damaged, the entire collection they got in, but they were beautiful. They were in great shape except for the water damage. So I went through, and all of them were like wavy and rippled, but some of them, the staining really wasn't bad at all. So, and they had them priced really, really reasonably. I can't remember the prices on each, but I think I paid anywhere from $20 to maybe $35, the highest. So I cherry picked out like 10 or 11. I've gone back and got a couple more that were left. Some of the bigger keys to me weren't worth it for the price they had marked them up at, but I did get some amazing books. First one, X-Men 28. The first appearance of Banshee. This one is gorgeous. I have this, but it's completely beat up. I mean, this one's probably got some of the worst water damage. You can see, I don't know if you see it, you can see the bottom staple is rusty. You're not going to be able to pick up the waviness, but man, the colors just pop on it. I think this one was less than $25. So for me, that's a fantastic buy. Even with the bit of water damage, it's not terrible on the back. I think it's got mild staining. And I just picked out the ones that had like the least noticeable staining. Some of them were terrible on the bottom, and you could see it on the front, but most of them can only see the stains on the back. X-Men 32, they're all just gorgeous. I think I pressed this one out already. I think this is the third Juggernaut. And I mean, you could just see, look at the spine on it. And I think this is one of the $20 ones. And I have it. I have a copy of this in really high grade as well, but I could not leave these behind. All right, this is the one I'm most happy about. I have wanted this book for a while. I love my Spidey Crossovers. I have the reprint one, whichever issue that is, but this is 35. You can definitely see the water damage on the back in this one. I think this was the most expensive of all the books. I think this was in the $35 range, but again, it is gorgeous. Little bit of rust on the staple, I think there. I think the stain on the back is definitely noticeable, but it is just still a beautiful copy. You can see a little bit of the water there, but for me, for $35, this is usually a pretty expensive book. Stoked to have that. The colors are awesome on it. Now the cover, I think I have the reprint again on this. It's 43. This is probably of the ones I got the most noticeable. You can see it from here, the water stain on the front, but this was cheap. I didn't have it. And again, it's one of my favorite X-Men covers from the Silver Age here. We've got 54, the first Alex Summers. And I think Living Pharaoh as well. You can see the stain a little bit here. But again, this one was like $20, and the colors are phenomenal. So, I mean, it just comes down to, I know the grades aren't there, but a lot of these looked like they were in the 9s. I know they're certainly not 9s because of the water, but you're adding into your PC, you're going to be psyched to have a copy that looks that amazing. Yeah, it's got a little bit of a water stain on the back, but most of the rippling could be pressed out. It had to sit a little bit in the press. I did press this one as well. No, I didn't press this one, but we got 64 as well, which this is probably one of the most beautiful ones. It's, you can't even see the rippling on the back of this. It's just gorgeous. A couple of spine ticks. I think another one I had, but man. And I think this was like $20 as well. So super stoked to add these. I think the final issue I got was one of the Bronze Age books. They had a bunch of the Bronze Age keys, the Dark Phoenix stuff. But again, it was all for the prices they wanted with the damage. It was way more noticeable on the Bronze Age stuff. So I just picked out 134, which was I think when Jean Grey turns into the Dark Phoenix, and I think this one was like less than $10. So the other ones were really bad with the water damage and didn't make it worth it for me. But so happy to add those Silver Age books. They look gorgeous. So that is it for the haul, guys. If you did enjoy it, leave some comments down below. Let me know what you think. And please, again, hit the like button and subscribe. We'll see you guys soon.